Yo, what's going on YouTube? Listen, I am worn out, King. So for today's video, no, we got a lot going on behind the scenes, like a lot. And we'll talk about it one day, but we're not talking about it today. With that being said, the future of Warzone, that's what the topic of today's video is. It's something that I've been like hyper focused on for a while now. It's definitely, in my opinion, the saving grace of COD at this point. The only reason I word it that way, like why I think Warzone would be the saving grace of COD, this year's multiplayer is really good. Modern Warfare 3 has like a solid base on multiplayer. The DLC they keep coming out with, all the expansions with seasons, they're creative. The maps are great. The game modes are phenomenal. They're a lot of fun. I got the hiccups now. What the hell? I'm gonna water, but gang, multiplayer is not gonna do it. We just have one of the lowest viewerships in a CDL, finals championship ever. With that being said, multiplayer is not saving COD. Warzone, like COD was always, like, let's just say COD was here for 15 years on this plane. It was like one of the best games. Obviously, every year you get it, you want to play it, but then you get like Warzone. When Warzone first came out, it was popular, but it wasn't like off rip, run away. We're here, Warzone comes out, now we're up here. Then Warzone, like, season 1 came out, people realized there was content to be made there, and Call of Duty elevates way up here. They set a bar higher than they realized they were going to set with Warzone. They came out with this reality that they, like, had on paper. They thought to themselves, like, this could be huge, this is a great idea. They come out with it, and it's a smash hit. Absolute smash hit. As the years go on, this bar keeps getting lowered and lowered and lowered and lowered. They couldn't keep up with all the concepts they had to keep everybody happy, and I think the biggest problem here is when I'm just going to say the Bovid numbers started dropping, okay? Because everyone's at home, everyone's quarantined, everyone's playing. Numbers are skyrocketing. Well, the world starts opening back up. Those numbers start going down, and they panic. They're like, oh my God, we're losing them. Like, we need to make something drastic now. We're losing players because of this or this or this. So then they start making adjustments to loadouts. Starts tanking a little faster. They're like, wait, something's going on. All right, they make adjustments to movements. We're going down. And then they finally reach a plane where they're like, what's going on? Why isn't this working? We're making these changes that the community is calling for, but in reality, they were looking at a young demographic. They were trying to take like what Fortnite has and put that to Warzone. Like, how can we dumb this game down to a point where it's like an absolute bot can play and not get ripped? But the reality is, this is Call of Duty. It's a game for shredders. What I'm getting at is, even Fortnite never nerfed their game down to where people weren't get ripped. They did skill-based matchmaking. That was a thing, undoubtedly. But they never was like, oh, let's nerf the movement. You can fly around in that game so fast. Like, it's so crazy. They took a fast-paced shooter and slowed it down to nothing, and it depleted. And now you have the biggest Call of Duty creators in the world going, hopefully this game saves my Call of Duty career. That's where we're at. That's the future of Warzone. We are at the edge. And finally, they're going, okay, movement's been a huge problem. Fluidity's been a huge problem. These maps are so big, we lowered the player count. They want us to be so invested with the lore of these maps and like, oh, well, if we don't put more players, people explore more. Fuck that. If we wanted that, we'd be playing Grand Theft Auto. We'd be playing GTA 5. We're not doing that, man. We're in COD for what Warzone was at originally and what it should be, and that's fast-paced back-to-back combat until you're the last team standing. It's crazy, dude. It's genuinely crazy. And they dumped these maps out in front of us. Like, Al Mazrah flopped. The only thing Al Mazrah had going for it was Dome and High Rise. That was it. Al Mazrah flops. And then they come out with Urzikstan, just a spitting image of fucking Al Mazrah. It's like, no one wants that. No one, so hopefully with Avalon, again, you see the same trend of like they're gonna make it very water heavy, like the map's split in half with water. Like it's all right, it's cool, I guess. Maybe it's like, are the vehicles gonna be as fluent as they were in 2019? Like that's the craziest part about it. That's where we're gonna round it off, gang. The fluidity of vehicles, loadouts, ground loot, movement, you name it, gunfights in 2019 was way higher than the fluidity we have now. It's been 5 years, okay? It's way more fluid in 2019 than it is now. And what happens, Call of Duty recycles everything they've goofed up, and they go, here's what we're going to do. We're going to resell the things that we took away from them as a good thing. Treyarch comes in, finally, and they go, hey, look, they're not selling us shit. They're like, we have an all-new movement that's never been used before in Call of Duty. Omni movement. Move in any direction you want, whenever you want. They're not reselling us anything. It's Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer's selling points for this game with Raven Studios. God, that was such a shit show bringing them into the mix. Was genuinely like, how can we get microtransactions to make more dollars, and how can we make people excited for the next update was something we already took from them. I will never understand that, like with a company like Call of Duty, to be a selling point. And it's just like when they did jetpacks and the game super tanked, the game turbo tanked, and then they finally were like, okay, we're gonna come out with another boots on the ground game, and that was their whole ad campaign. Boots on ground, boots on ground. It's Call of Duty. What do you mean? Like, obviously it didn't work first time. Don't follow it up with another turd. Like, it's so crazy, man. But this happens. That whole like jetpack era, you know, that was a 3-year stretch. Like that happened, you know? Whatever. It's like, it seems to be a trend. COD does good for a few years, and then they have like 3 years of just shit. Because they're all piggybacking off an idea that's not even established yet. Because they're like, oh, this is going to be the shit. It's like, no. And then we see Warzone 2 come out. And they're like, oh, we got DMZ coming. The logo looks just like Tarkov. The game sucked. Like, DMZ was so bad. Like, it was so bad. And they put so much of the developing resource to that project that Warzone tanked because of it. So it's like, what I'm getting at is they built this entity that is bigger than them at this point. Warzone is massive. And the only way they can fix it is if they put the same resources they did the first time into it again and not worry about, oh, well, what if the casual player wants to play and they get shit on? Oh, fucking well, it's Call of Duty. If they want to play a FPS game so casually, go play Battlefield or something. Go play something actually casual. Call of Duty's not this like casual, it's a competitive, fast-paced FPS. I don't understand where they get this wrong. I mean, the most they've ever done in microtransactions were when streamers were actually like wanting to be competitive, getting hundreds of thousands of views per person on streams, #1 on Twitch, and they see these content creators buying these skins or running certain weapons, operators, whatever. All of these kids watching that want that microtransaction. So rather than pushing the narrative of like, in our face, oh, we're doing this, focus on the community that actually supports the game. Because at the end of the day, all of your content creators who make, like myself, I've played this game for 20 years. Like every big content creator you know that plays Call of Duty, that's your community. They're not the ones who play the game for 6 months, go, oh, the movement was ass, and they leave, bro. You have a community built, and they have a following, and that is the community. That's who you cater this game to. Because believe it or not, when they're doing well and they're happy, you're doing very well. That's it. It's crazy. So the future of Warzone, they have to tee in, okay? Obviously, fluidity is the biggest problem, but they have to work on making Call of Duty a fast-paced shooter again. They have to. There's no other option. The more they try to nerf and slow it down and baby the game, it's just going to fall apart. And then the next big thing will come out, and this will all be a memory. It'll all just be a flash. And that's okay. That's fine. But Warzone, in a sense, ruined Call of Duty. I stand by that as someone who's like competed, I've played a shit ton of Warzone. Warzone ruined Call of Duty. because they'll never be able to come out with just a Call of Duty, a multiplayer experience, no Warzone that will ever compare to the numbers they did with Warzone. And that's just facts. So until the next big thing comes out, it's a sinking ship unless they can capitalize on all the key features that made Warzone what it was. They keep trying to branch out and do this and this and this and this. Make a base game that's really good and build from there. Like, don't go into it with all new. No. Make a base game that you know works. Follow the recipe, make it, and then add on to it. And that's when we'll see growth and progression. But if we're doing spaghetti marketing with Call of Duty, we're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, that's not going to work. Like, that's just not going to work. They've done that for years now. It's been back to back to back. So it's like, it's frustrating, man, but we'll see. You know, we got Area 99 coming out in what, 4 months? 4 months, 5 at the latest. Area 99 on the way. We got Verdansk coming potentially in 5 months, but realistically it'll probably be in about 8 months, give or take. And we have Avalon coming probably in 6 months. So we got maps coming, we got a game coming. They have a good game plan. They need to stick with it. Beta's going to tell us a lot. Hopefully they don't change a bunch of stuff from beta to hard release like they did with MW2. Infinity Ward sold so hard with that game. Like, I'd be embarrassed to like work for that studio and be like, oh yeah, I helped develop Modern Warfare 2. I'd be so fucking embarrassed because beta was so good, and they're like, wait, no, it's too challenging. No, and there's no chance. So that's what we got today, gang. But listen, if you're new to the channel, enjoy the content, man, hit that sub, crush that like, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for another heater. Let's get it, gang.